Most suspense and brain pain ever. To fully understand its content, I stayed up for 3 consecutive nights to watch it again. This is the horror masterpiece that has been forgot for 16 years. Triangle. The story begins. A child suffering in panic was startled. Accidentally, she poured paint cans on the floor. Unexpectedly, she was cruelly scolded by her mother. The fearful child ran away. Jess, a single mother, stayed to clean the paint mark. At that moment, the doorbell shouted. In a ruffled appearance, she hurriedly opened a door. But when opened, no one was outside. This time is nearly 8:30, the time to go to the beach with friends. Jess also does not care about the mood of the child who has just been hurt, still pulling him to the meeting to go to the sea. She kept pulling her son to the appointment. After rushing to clean up a few items, the two got in the car to the pier. On the way, the baby did not say a word. Even more strange is when arriving, only Jess appeared. The companion, Victor, asked her, "Why not bring the child?" Jess was silent for nearly 2 seconds and then said that he went to school. But that day was obviously weekend. Victor also did not ask anything more. When the two of them came to the yacht, the captain, named Gray, who organized this trip, then asked Victor first, "Is it okay?" "I don't think so." The more strange thing is Jess, who always refused Gray. This time, she took the initiative to hug him, her mouth also muttering to apologize continuously. This action made Gray extremely surprised. He thought Jess's autistic son had something, so he suggested that they meet another day. But Jess was determined to go out today. She did not know a horrific disaster was about to happen. At first, the sky was very peaceful. Everyone enjoys a relaxing trip. But suddenly, the waves were silent. Even the sea surface is rippled, suddenly becomes flat like a mirror. This strange phenomenon makes Gray, people with more than 10 years of maritime experience, feel wild. More frightening, a giant block of dark clouds was quickly approaching them. The scary scene made Gray immediately contact the Coast Guard near it, but the radio completely lost signal. Just hear the sound of a woman asking for help. "Save me, please save me. Kill everyone. All are quality. The quality is over." When Gray intends to ask again, outside, black clouds rolled up with tens of meters high wave columns rushing towards them. Gray hurriedly ordered everyone to wear life jackets and hide into the train compartment. He and Victor stayed in the train. One controller of the steering wheel, the other person takes care of the boom. They try to rely on it to escape the disaster. But the waves are getting bigger and bigger. Victor was forced to use a knife to cut the sail, try to minimize the risk of boats blown by the wind. The waves hundreds of meters high were too intense. In the blink of an eye, the boat was swept deep into the sea. Thankfully, everyone knows how to swim quite well. 5 survivors were lucky to swim onto the ship's hull, but a girl who used to wear a straw hat was unfortunate. She lost her life in that tsunami. A few hours later, the sea surface gradually became quiet. That has never happened. Only the flock of rotten seagulls floated around the head. At that moment, a loud noise rang out, attracting Jess's attention. Unexpectedly, there was a huge steamship on the surface. Everyone was like being able to grab the straw. All were excited to cheer and wave. But no one realized that, in the 21st century, such a giant steam vessel from the 1930s, it was absolutely impossible to appear at sea anymore. No matter how unreasonable, but when it is close to death, reason will not remain. Instinctively for survival, they did not think but immediately climbed on the train. That is the last chance. Only Jess has a familiar feeling that is hard to describe. She always felt she had been to this place. When passing through the corridor in the train compartment with everyone, that familiar feeling was even more pronounced. "Are you okay?" "I felt like I have been here. I realized this corridor." "Any boat is not the same?" "No, not so. Look at this." Victor's voice interrupted Jess's thoughts. He discovered a picture of the ship's origin. It turned out that the ship named Aeolus produced in 1932. Aeolus is a wind god in Greek mythology. His son Sisyphus dared to deceive the god, so he was punished to push the rock to the mountain forever. Every time the rock falls, he must start over again. At that moment, a noise rang out, making everyone startled to look at the sound. Victor approached and only saw a bunch of keys falling on the ground. Jess picked it up. She kept it. "This is my key." "That is Jess's keys." Everyone thought she was talking nonsense, but on the keychain is the picture of her son, all indispensable. And that is only the beginning of a series of strange things. A moment later, the whole group went into a luxurious decorative banquet room. Inside, not only is the instrument that is neatly arranged, but also fresh fruits are well prepared. This place is about to hold a big concert, but strangely, there is no shadow of anyone. What is more suspicious is Victor. He asked Gray what time it was. It was 11:30. But Jess's clock is different. The clock in the banquet room stopped at 8:17. These strange phenomenon make everyone cold. Everyone began to discuss, but a voice resounded from behind Jess. She turned around too. "See a shadow in the corner." "I see someone there." Victor immediately chased. Greg was also not assured, so he quickly followed. Jess also wants to know who that person is, so she and Greg followed. Only the Downey couple remained because they were too afraid. But not far away, they heard the sound of water flowing from room 237. Greg cautiously pushed the door in. There is no one in the room, but on the bathroom glass there are words, "Go to the theater," written in blood. Such a weird phenomenon made Jess so scared that she wanted to leave the train. But Greg said that this was just a malicious joke of the sailor. Because they are too free, so they just made these games. The two began to argue. Didn't you understand that you just imagined? In his mind, he only thought of going to school to pick up his children. Don't criticize me anymore? Because Jess's child is autistic, so she was very sensitive to words like abnormal. Greg then realized that he had spoken too much, but the words missed could not be withdrawn. After the two broke up, Jess returned to the banquet room. She wanted to find Victor and the Downey pair to leave the ship, but she did not see anyone. She also discovered a strange phenomenon. The fruits and food that were fresh just now, in just a few minutes, were moldy and rotten. Before she could compose herself after the shock, behind her again sounded a sound. Jess rushed to check. Unexpectedly, Victor's body was full of blood. Out of kindness, she was about to help him. No doubt, he was not unexpected. Then he crushed her down. In that emergency, Jess knows Victor's wound behind his head. She immediately pressed her hand on it. Unexpectedly, she accidentally killed Victor. Looking at the body of the friend in front of her, Jess was full of regret, not knowing what to do. Suddenly, a gunshot rang behind. She rushed in the direction of the sound to the theater, then saw Downey and his wife hugging Gray, who was hit by many bullets. "No, bastard!" She opened fire on him. "Auntie," he said, "she shot himself." "I did not do it." But it was clear that Jess was in the banquet room. She absolutely did not have time to run to the theater to kill Gray. So she insisted on denying. She also said just now she was with Victor, and someone also attacked him. "Is there someone? Do you think I did it? Why tell us to go to the theater? I do not do it. Me? I cannot." "Oh my God, you actually acted." Each bullet was aimed at the Downey couple. The two of them quickly breathed their last breath. Only Jess was lucky to escape from the theater. But when she ran out to the train, she was knocked down by the figure from behind. Mrs. Van asked him not to shoot, saying that he had a small child waiting at home. Unexpectedly, that sentence made him more determined to pull the trigger. Seeing that, Jess suddenly grabbed the gun barrel. Just like that, she knew how he would take action. She took the gun, then hit him down. Then she jumped on the lower floor, successfully escaping the first assassination. But the figure seemed to know the direction Jess fled. When chasing and discovering the gun was out of bullets, he threw the gun straight at her. Jess now does not care about her body pain. She hurried to pick up a fire axe and fire. She continued to pick up the fire pipe on the ground, throwing it forward, deliberately misleading, to attract the attention of the figure. After that, she sneaked around him. Unexpectedly, that perfect plan was seen through by him. He was soon waiting behind Jess. If she could not escape, then face to fight. Jess, because of turning like a child, as if turning into a warrior. After only a few moves, she not only disarmed him, but also pinned him down. And the vague conversation between the two later was not only the turning point of the whole movie, but also completely changed Jess's life. This is the only way to go home. Auntie, she had to kill them. Kill them, kill them, kill them. The figure with the masked mask to the quality is still repeating, kill them. But at this time, Jess did not understand the meaning of those words. She only knew that she had ended it after she survived. In despair, she just wanted to find a place to rest. But when she was walking, she didn't understand why from the opposite room there was a light music. Jess stepped in and saw the record due to being played from the record player. She immediately needed to play it on the top. In the bustling sound, the record turned to Jess's perspective. Towards the world in the mirror, she looked at the bruise dumbfounded. Then the cry for help from the outside broke the quiet atmosphere, causing her to wake up. Note, now the camera does not follow Jess, but slowly entered the world in the mirror. Following Jess's step in the mirror out of the train, she suddenly remembered the friends who had just died. But they reappeared on the ship that was overturned. Jess is both amazed and confused. The bruise on her left cheek also disappeared. Even more strangely, there is a whole new Jess that is also standing on the boat. So everything has just been re-established. From this moment, the core of the movie actually started. Follow the movie's rhythm and slowly feel. Jess, panic, ran back. At this moment, there was no bruise on her face. But when she returned to the room and touched the record player, the bruise reappeared again. It shows that Jess has returned to the real world outside the mirror. And the song from the record player, like the opening music when we play a game again. Everyone started a new round again. As for why it repeated, the film will explain in the ending. To make it easier for people to follow, I will call Jess, who has just boarded the boat, Jess 1. Jess, who survived, will still be Jess. Are you okay? I feel I have been here. I realized this corridor. Any yacht looks the same. These words have also been experienced, proving that the sequence is almost identical to the first time. But this surreal experience caused Jess's whole world to collapse. She felt a headache like a hammer and had to lie down. Suddenly, the key fell down. That immediately attracted the attention of everyone. Unable to think much, Jess was in a hurry and ran back into the banquet room. The scene of Victor picking up the key we have seen. Then they will go to the banquet room. And Jess 1 felt someone behind. That person is Jess. She was so panicked that she ran straight to the train and accidentally saw the Downey's body being poked by the seaweed. Jess did not understand why the Downey body was here. It was obviously in the new cycle. Perhaps there are others on the boat. At that moment, Victor came out. He could not believe that Jess was in the banquet room but can run out of the boat again in front of his eyes. Now there is another me with everyone. Another Jess is with Greg. Victor still did not believe her words. Jess wants to show him the Downey body under the sea, but the body has just been lost. Although there is no evidence, Jess could not sit still to watch friends die again. She panicked to explain to Victor, who, doubtful and fearful, pushed his head into a nail behind. This is also the reason why Victor was wounded, not making Jess's move right away. He was killed by her before. Now, Jess is so scared, so she ran to a room that looked like a security room. She did not understand why everyone was reliving. Also do not know why, when they live, their memory is erased. She doesn't understand why there are two Jesses. Even if she tried to explain now, everyone would consider her a monster, because all of their memory has been reset. The increasing truth makes the spirit of Jess almost collapse completely. At that moment, she saw a series of pieces of paper on the floor wrote the same sentence. If they board the boat, then kill them. Jess realized that handwriting. Just like her writing, she hurriedly took the paper to try. And not unexpected, the handwriting, even the order of the pen, is completely the same. Not knowing what to do, she accidentally saw a necklace on the sewer. Picked it up to see. It is a picture of her with her son. But right later, the necklace fell back to the sewer, even deeper. When her necklace also fell, Jess realized she no longer cared for anything. She just wanted to go home to see her son again. Tommy, her son. To return, she had to kill them all. Now, only a risk of life. Jess started collecting weapons and ammunition, preparing for the upcoming killing. She found the first Victor, just appeared in front of Jess 1. Breaking the whole cycle repeated, but when the moment was real, Jess could not take action. She hesitated and let Jess 1 go. After that, she explained to Victor that regeneration and revival were real. But suddenly, a gunshot rang out. Jess did not understand, because the gun was still in her hand, so she rushed to check. Unexpectedly, the result is still the same as last time. Gray died. But this time, Jess changed the event. She risked his life to save the Downey and her husband, and they escaped successfully. Saving them this time made Jess believe that she could change her fate. Since then, she no longer wants to kill people anymore. So, from the beginning intended to kill everyone, she started saying she would take people out of this monster. She even assigned guns to the Downey couple. Whoever comes, just shoot straight. Shortly thereafter, she went to the banquet room to take Victor, who was being injured with her. But he disappeared without a trace. Only the blood streak was dragged on the floor. Following that trace, she went outside the floor. It seems Victor was thrown into the sea. At that moment, a gunshot rang out. Jess immediately returned. So Downey opened fire. He saw the masked man in the corner of the corridor. But when the mask is removed, that person is Jess. Now on the boat, there are 3 Jesses. This mask we call Jess Killer. The one who just ran was Jess, the main character of the film. And the first new on the boat is Jess 1. Back to Jess. She approached Downey and his wife. She lied that Victor accidentally fell into the sea. But the truth is that she killed him herself. How to know if she killed him? I don't need to know. If you want to live, follow me. Downey and her husband still followed her. After that, 3 people entered room 237. Unexpectedly, just entered the door, Jess pulled out a wire across Downey's neck, then gave a fatal strike to his wife Downey. Hearing screams, Jess rushed over. Of the Downey couple now, only Sally survived and escaped from the room. Wandering for a while, she was able to go to the yacht's contact room and signal for help outside by radio. The recipient is that Greg is facing a tsunami in the new round. Help me, please help me. Does anyone hear me say? Help me. Help me. Kill them all. They are all quality. All of them are all. Back to this side, Jess finally found Sally, and the scene before her eyes made her extremely scared. On the deck, there are countless bodies of Sally piled up. This proves that the cycles have happened countless times. She took off her coat to cover Sally as a way to comfort her friend. But at that time, a gunshot resounded behind. Jess turned to look. Unexpectedly, Jess Killer forced Jess to the edge. That scene she also experienced. At this point, Jess will understand the rule of the round. It turned out that the boat always exists 3 Jesses. And every time Jess Killer kills Jess, Jess will become Jess Killer. And Jess 1 will become Jess. Only when everyone is on the boat, a new round starts. That is, 5 completely new and recalling people continue on the boat. When everyone is all, it will start again. Understanding everything, Jess at first still could not accept the cruel truth of the loop. She just wanted the ship to stop, to quickly go home to meet her son. But no matter what she destroyed, the ship still refused to stop. A while later, Jess finally understood. She knew the only way to return home was to kill everyone. So she began to set out a trap. She returned to room 237, where she killed Downey before, pulled his body, and threw it straight into the sea. This is also the reason why later there is a scene of the sea with the body of Downey. Jess then wrote 3 words, "Go to the theater," on the mirror. Then she took Gray's body in the theater away. Next, she went to the couple's room to call the new Downey couple to the theater. "Where is Gray? Gray told me to press everyone to meet at the theater." Shortly thereafter, she went to the security room to prepare weapons and clothes. She wore a mask, becoming the previous version of Jess Killer. Now just kill everyone. Then she can break the circle, or at least know what the truth behind it is. Jess followed Gray to the 2nd floor of the theater, but when she pulled the trigger, she could not do it. Anyway, they have known each other for more than a dozen years, and Gray also pursued her. Unexpectedly, Gray realized it was her from the shoes, and guessed the person masking was Jess. Jess, what are you doing? What is this? Why are you dressed like that?" "I don't want you to see my face." "Why?" "Because that's not me. I am on a certain mission, to get you from this place. After killing him, we will be started again from the beginning." "No." Finally, Jess pulled the trigger. Then, one after another, killed the Downey couple. The things later happened as before. The new Jess will drop Jess wearing a mask into the sea. But from here, the rule of the setting began to change. Jess fell into the sea and was washed ashore on the beach. She saw herself finally escaping the obsession and rushed home, just wanting to meet her beloved son as soon as possible. But just at home, besides the child painting, she also saw herself in the house. A completely new Jess has never set out. She feared back. She didn't know how to explain to him. Unexpectedly, the baby saw his mother outside the window. In panic, he made color boxes spill on the table. The mom inside just finished cleaning. "Now what else? Mom just cleaned up. I did it like this. Why can't you let me be alone for a day?" Jess outside could not believe it. It turned out that she previously treated her children like that. So she decided to do a bold thing. She pressed the doorbell. Taking advantage of Jess in the house opening the door, she ran into the warehouse to get an iron hammer. Waiting for the other person to come back, she rushed into the house and hit her with a hammer. And the whole scene was seen by the child. This made the boy fall into a great panic. But in front of it is a woman like his mother. He still rushed to hug Jess. Jess also promised him that from now on will love him wholeheartedly and will not get angry anymore. Everything seems to be positive. Moments later, Jess brought out a black bag. She put Jess's body earlier in the bag, then retrieved the necklace of the mother and son, then used a few old shirts to cover the body and put it in the car. On the way, bringing the body to handle, suddenly a seagull bumped into the windshield. Jess had to hit the curb. She stepped down and picked up the dead seagull to throw away on the coast. But the next scene made her shudder. Right on the spot, instead of one seagull, there were countless others. An unhealthy premonition came to her. It turned out that Jess was still trapped in the loop. Unable to accept that, she rushed into the car to leave. Not long after driving, the son suddenly pointed to the bloodstains on the glass door and screamed violently. Jess was very flustered, just knowing how to comfort him. Surprisingly, because of the distraction, the car crashed tens of meters before stopping. People along the road began to gather. But the strange thing is, at the scene, only the body of the old Jess and the son were there. And Jess, who was driving, stood on the road, but there was nothing. Strangely, the crowd seemed to not see her existence. The taxi driver from the just now walked over. He went and said a few strange words. That child could not be saved anymore. No one can prevent death from taking it away. Jess was tired and went to sleep. When they arrived at the pier, the driver called Jess to wake up. Said her clock stopped, she shouldn't turn off the clock. "Will you wait for me to come back?" "Will you come back?" "Yes, I promise." Jess promised to come back, but when she got off the car, she seemed to have forgotten what had happened, then went straight to the pier. Victor appeared behind like the first movie. He asked Jess why she didn't bring her son. Jess was silent for more than 20 seconds to answer. "Do you know me?" "I think yes. Greg often told me about you." "Where is Greg?" she asked. "Hurry up, she's about to be late. Why not take her son with?" "He is at school." "Are you sure?" "Sure." But obviously the boy had an accident. From here, Jess's memory seems to be reset. The episodes then started the same as the first loop. At this point, many people must have countless questions. I will simply analyze a bit, hope to help people have a new perspective on this movie. In fact, the core of the story was that day. On the way to the sea to play, Jess had a car accident. Both mother and son were killed. But the cause of her death comes from her own distraction. That obsession made Jess turn into resentment, not able to escape. The god had to lead her soul to leave. But before leaving, Jess still had an incomplete task. She prayed to be allowed to go to the port to fulfill the final promise, and promised that she would definitely come back. But whoever thought, a step back, and that triggered the curse in Greek mythology. punishment for those who dare to deceive the god. Like the story of Sisyphus on the yacht, he was sentenced to push the rock to the mountain forever for tricking the god. As for Jess, her punishment was to fall into a permanent loop. She forever tried to save her children but was unsuccessful. And we don't have to be like Jess, trapped in the loop of his own life. You wake up surfing your phone every night, then tell myself tomorrow to sleep early. But when is tomorrow? Life is no different from a horrific yacht. And you, when can you get off the train?